Alright, Shalom, Shalom. It's the brother Shakab from Great Millstone Lake Charles Camp. Just back again with another lesson. Alright, but before I do anything, as always, I'm going to start by saying, Call Holy La, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakhakodash. It's all praises to the Father, in the name of His only begotten Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Natham Mashana Kabbalah Zapunyim Shah Yashrala, which is Gilda honest to the elders of Israel, which are the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach them well. And Shalom Wababakia Shah Yashrala, which is peace and love to the elect of Israel. Alright, and as you can see, based off the search bar, okay, and the articles that I have pulled up, okay, this is pretty much going in because it's been a lot of controversy behind, this certain article, okay, and here you have it. It's the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and you can abbreviate that. Alright, it's planning to purchase up to $20 million worth of high-tech electric shock gloves for its field agents, man. Okay, just another way to afflict Jake. Alright, for Jake, I'm speaking about the Northern Tribe in specific, because that's who they're coming up against. Okay, hey, but you got to know that that's coming to the Northern Kingdom right now, but it's soon to come to the Southern Kingdom, man. Alright, which are the Negro tribes. Alright, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Alright, it ain't just gonna stop, at the Northern Kingdom, man. Alright, because Israel as a whole, went astray from the Lord. Israel as a whole, okay, has been wicked, man. You say Judah and Ephraim are pressed together, man. But the Northern tribe right now, y'all getting your ass kicked, man. Hey, it's like Ephraim is joining the idols, man. So what is the consequence for that, man? So again, I'll read this again. So it says they're willing to purchase up to $20 million worth of high-tech electric shock gloves for his field agents. And you can see even on Facebook too. Alright, there's been an uproar. Okay, when it comes to, Issachar. Alright. There's been an uproar, man. They're not pleased with finding this out. Because he on their ass, man. Alright, you had him open up with the alligator Alcatraz, man. At one point, they had them living in harsh conditions. Alright, it was basically a detaining center, and they was treated like animals in that motherfucker, man. That goes to show for, bro. He don't care. Alright, he don't care about anybody, bro, unless you making the money. And even then, he's looking for a way to replace you, so he won't have to pay you. Know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, it says the plan has ignited heavy criticism from civil rights advocates. Okay, and as you can see, there's several different news outlets that's covering this specific topic. All right, you got AP News, NPR, New York Post, MS Now, Fortune, CNN, Los Angeles Times, Scripps News, Spectrum News, WBL TV. Alright, they're all covering the same thing. Alright. But again, I'm gonna read some of this some of the deets on that, on the actual gloves itself. Okay? Because just think about this, back then you never thought to have some electric shock gloves, man. Like, you thought tasers was just, that. So now they're coming out with electric shock gloves, man. All right, you can actually turn the function of the shocking on and off. You could toggle it. So technology is advancing. So just think about when, okay, it's really time for Esau to come down with that great wrath, and I'll get that scripture too. Lord willing. So he gonna show his ass. You know, he got all kind of shit, you know, locked up in a vault, man, that he ready to use. All right, to try it on Jake. You know? Excuse me. So it says, what is the glove? All right. So, let me see. I'll scroll down. All right. So how it works? It says it looks and operates like a standard glove until a button on the wrist is pressed. This activates electrode pads on a palm side that deliver an electric shock upon direct contact with a person's skin. Okay. So it's giving you the function of how it works. All right, mind you, they're gonna be putting all kind of hands, you know, on those detainees. All right, when they have to grab them up, all they got to do is, you know, you just toggle it, and they actually having videos to where they showing people be brought to their knees just from being, you know, touched on the wrist with it. You know, so they might be grabbing, you know, Northern Tribe around the damn neck and turning on the electrodes, man. Wouldn't be surprised if they have, you know, some death cases, you know, spring up from that, man. You know? So, look at the voltage. It says the glove delivers between 324 and 362 volts with an operational limit of 380 volts. While painful enough, excuse me. Jake yawning this shit. It says while painful enough to bring a person to their knees instantly, they are lower voltage than a standard taser, which ranges from 1200 to 1500 volts, and do not use skin piercing prongs. Okay, but think about it. With a taser though, all right. There's actual videos of people getting hit with tasers and they still moving, they still running. You know, like the shit can't stop them. You know, especially, you know, some of them crackheads, man. You know, that shit don't do nothing to them. All right, so it says the current use, it says variations of the technology are already used by more than 700 law enforcement agencies, jails, and even some public school security officers. Wow, so in certain public schools, you know, let me see. And let's say, you know, that isn't true. You know, it isn't too far-fetched when you're dealing with Esau Edom, dog. All right. Nothing is too far-fetched when you're dealing with this devil, man. Okay? Because this is part of him, what, taking peace from the earth. All right? So I'll read a little bit more of this. Let me see. I was speaking about the contract. Look at this bugged out shit. Let me see. So find this again. Alright, so look. So it says breaking. Alright, well, it's the same thing. Alright, so look, it says the gloves look just like ordinary patrol gloves, but then an officer presses a switch and turns on electrical mode. It says to shock someone, they have to make direct contact with bare skin. The manufacturer says the electric pulse causes immediate pain and can disrupt coordinated muscle movement within seconds, man. All right, and that's really what I wanted to you know, get into. All right, because, and then too, you know, also it says what there's already a lawsuit over death involving those gloves, man. You know, I said that early on. You know, wouldn't be surprised if they had death start to spring up because of that. You know, but nevertheless, though, okay, it said that it can disrupt coordinated muscle movement within seconds, man. Esau, he has this type of technology, man. All right. And I'm pretty sure he's far more advanced than just that, having gloves. All right. We see the futuristic weapons that he has on these movies, man. All right. Because you got to think about it, man. Hey, his blessing is what? The sword. Okay. Let's see. Sword. Wanted to get that Ezekiel. Is it 12? Bear with me. 20. It's 21. It's 21. Alright, this is Ezekiel chapter 21, verse 9. It says, Son of man. Verse 8, it says, Again the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy and say, Thus saith thee Yahweh, see a sword is sharpened and also furbished. Alright. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. And who is that sword? That sword is referring to Esau Edom. Okay? Alright, it is being sharpened and furbished, man. Hey, utilized on Jake. Alright? Constantly developing. Okay? So Esau can show for what that perpetual hatred that he's been having for Jake. Alright? It says it is sharpened to make a sore slaughter, and that's what it is. But the Lord has given us over into that slaughter, man. All right, for a point in time. All right, but what? Out of that, he has a remnant to return. Okay, because what? Our nation as a whole went off, man. All right. So it says, it is furbished that it make glitter. Should we then make mirth? It contemneth the rod of my son is every tree, man. All right, shall we then make mirth? All right, shall we rejoice? All right, being a party and bullshit spirit, no. All right, because that's the what kicked Jake ass, man. You know, think about it in Jacob's trouble, man. They gonna have more than just electric shock gloves, man. You know. Let me see. Not that one. The one that Isaiah should be 10. Let me see. 15, a good one. This I wanted 5. That's what it was. So this is Isaiah chapter 10, verse 5. It says, O Assyrian, the rod of mine anger, and the staff in their hand is mine indignation. I will send him against a hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge, to take the spoil, and to take the prey, and to tread them down like the mire of the streets, man. All right, and that's the position that we're in. All right, being what? Persecuted, man. All right. Hey, because what? This is punishment, man. All right, but Esau ate him, he furthered the affliction on, man. That's where the error comes in at. All right, the error isn't that we're getting our ass kicked by Esau Edom. Okay, the error is because, because what? He's going overboard, man. You know? But hey, this is what he's supposed to do, though, man. Okay, because all in all, he's going to continue to go overboard to what he tries to totally wipe out Jake, man. All right, but that's when the Lord is going to come in and interfere. That's when that divine intervention is going to set in place. All right. So let me see. I get this, and I'll close out right here. It's Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. It says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time," man. All right, and that's that. All right, so this is part of Esau Edom coming down with that great wrath to what? Put that squeeze on Jake, man. All right, starting to implement these draconian laws. All right, have that MOTB mandated. Okay, so he's really gonna be putting his foot on Jake neck, man. You know. So look, this is something else on here. So can I read this again? It says, and then they using 20 million, all right, worth of high-tech electric shock gloves for his field agents, man. All right, investing in a bag, man. It's a bag, man. To afflict Jake, dog. You know, that was pretty much all I had, you know, through the spirit, man. I just wanted to kind of cover that, you know. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, you know, to this